What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel where we keep it real and bring you the latest, most important updates surrounding America's team. You already know, the Dallas Cowboys are always looking to sharpen every piece of the puzzle, striving to evolve and improve so we can finally bring another Lombardi trophy home to Dallas. And let me tell you, today's news connects directly to that mission. Before we dive into this breaking story about former Cowboys quarterback Trey Lance finding a new home in free agency, do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the honest, no fluff Cowboys content, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update. Alright, let's get into it. After a year of uncertainty, Trey Lance has officially found a new NFL home. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, Lance has agreed to a one-year deal worth up to $6.2 million with the Los Angeles Chargers. That's right, folks, Trey is heading back to California, where it all began. Now let's rewind for a second. Remember when Trey Lance was the number 3 overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft? There was so much hype around this kid coming out of North Dakota State, big arm, athletic, loads of potential. He was supposed to be the next face of the San Francisco 49ers, but as we've seen, sometimes talent doesn't get a fair shot, or just doesn't pan out right away. Lance sat behind Jimmy Garoppolo as a rookie, and when he finally got the starting job in 2022, a brutal ankle injury ended his season before it even really began. Fast forward a bit, Brock Purdy, darling of the Niners, and Trey gets traded to the Dallas Cowboys before the 2024 season. Now let's talk about Trey Lance in Dallas. There was excitement, there was mystery, and there were a lot of questions. Jerry Jones, as only Jerry can do, pulled the trigger on a trade that landed Lance in Big D. At the time, we all wondered if the Cowboys had just secured their QB of the future, a hidden gem, or maybe just a solid insurance policy. But let's be honest, Trey never got a real shot here either. When Dak Prescott went down with a season-ending hamstring injury, it wasn't Lance who stepped up. It was Cooper Rush. Trey only got to start. In the final game of the season, after the Cowboys were already eliminated from playoff contention, that lone appearance, not enough to move the needle for the coaching staff or the front office, so now he's out, and just like that, the Trey Lance experiment in Dallas is over. Let's flip the script and look at the Chargers for a second. Justin. Herbert is the guy, no doubt about it. He's locked in as the starter, and rightfully so. But bringing in Trey Lance, it's a low-risk, high-reward move. If they can tap into even a fraction of the upside that made Lance a top 3 pick, they might have found a dangerous offensive weapon, or at the very least, a capable backup with playmaking ability. And don't forget, Lance is still just 24 years old. His arm hasn't wowed many with a career 56.6 completion percentage, but he's a legitimate threat with his legs. He might be used as a gadget guy, a red zone package player, or just a developmental project. Either way, the Chargers are taking the chance that Dallas ultimately passed on. Now here's where things get really interesting for Cowboys Nation. With Lance out of the picture, the Cowboys have turned the page. They made a sneaky, under-the-radar move by trading for second-year QB Joe Milton III from the New England Patriots. And this move might be smarter than people realize. Let's break it down. Dallas gave up a 5th-round pick and got a 7th-rounder in return, along with Milton. On paper, it's a small trade. But if you know Milton, you know the physical tools are off the charts. He's got one of the strongest arms in the entire league, no exaggeration. He's built like a tank. He's got the same physical traits that made scouts drool over Josh Allen. And yes, he's raw. But behind Dak Prescott, he has time to develop. There's no pressure, no expectations, just growth. And check this out. NFL analyst Jeff Howe gave this trade a solid B grade. Why? Because Milton is a lottery ticket. If it hits, you're looking at a potential future starter. If it doesn't, you lost a 5th-round pick. That's a gamble worth taking. Now, some folks are calling Jerry cheap for passing on a more experienced veteran like Jacoby Brissett or Drew Lock. But let's be real. Those guys are not going to lead you to a Super Bowl. They are what they are. Journeymen, placeholders. And they would have cost more. Milton, he's making around $1 million a year. That's dirt cheap for a quarterback with that kind of potential. That's not just cheap. That's smart. And here's another wrinkle that makes this move even more intriguing. New England gave Milton the option of where he wanted to go. That's not typical for a sixth-round player. But Milton chose Dallas. That speaks volumes. Respect, opportunity, belief in the system. Whatever it was, he picked Big D, and speaking of Jerry Jones, let's talk about the bigger strategy at play here. Jerry's taking heat lately. Not just about quarterbacks, but about the Micah Parsons contract situation. Remember when he said he didn't know who Parsons' agent was? That was a shot, a strategic one, maybe a little emotional too. The deal with Parsons, it's basically done in principle. Years, structure, value, it's all agreed on. But the guaranteed money, that's where the fight is. That's where the agents earn their checks. So while some fans are mad at Jerry, let's not forget he holds a lot of leverage here. Micah is under contract through 2025. They can tag him twice after that. There's no rush unless someone makes it one. Meanwhile, moves like trading for Milton allow the Cowboys to shift focus in the draft. No need to reach for a quarterback on day 3. You've got your guy. Now you can plug other holes, offensive line, linebacker, corner, where you really need help. The Dallas Cowboys just made an under-the-radar trade that has Cowboys fans buzzing, maybe even a little too much. The front office acquired quarterback Joe Milton III from the New England Patriots. The deal? Dallas gave up a 5th-round pick and got back Milton and a 7th-rounder. Not exactly blockbuster material, but there's more to this story than meets the eye. Joe Milton isn't just any backup QB. He's a 6'5", 250-pound monster of an athlete with a cannon for an arm, the kind of raw talent you just don't see every day. Some folks are already calling him the next Josh Allen. But hold up. Let's slow that train down. The Josh Allen comparisons. Real or ridiculous? Let's talk about this Josh Allen comparison. Yeah, Milton has a rocket arm. Yeah, he's built like a linebacker. And yeah, he made some noise in his lone NFL start. Week 18 against the Buffalo Bills, he went 22 of 29 for 241 yards and a touchdown through the air, plus another on the ground. Not bad, right? But comparing him to Josh Allen, an MVP-caliber, franchise-altering quarterback, might be a bit premature. Joe Milton, as talented as he is physically, is still very much a developmental player. He was a 6th-round pick for a reason. He's got traits, not tape. Potential, not polish. What this means for Dak Prescott. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Is Milton coming to Dallas to compete with Dak Prescott? No, absolutely not. Dak is still QB1. There's no quarterback controversy brewing here. Let's keep it 100. Milton is here to develop behind Dak, not challenge him. But hey, having a talented young quarterback in the building is never a bad thing. It gives the coaching staff a project to mold, and if things go really well, maybe even a long-term plan for life after Dak, way down the line. And let's not forget, the backup QB spot matters. Remember last season? When Dak went down, Cooper Rush stepped in and kept us afloat. Backup QBs win or lose games in this league. That's why this trade matters. Here's where things get interesting. The Cowboys were in the market for a QB3, someone who could grow into a solid backup, or even better. They looked at veterans like Jacoby Brissett and Drew Lock, but here's the thing. Those guys are high-floor, low-ceiling players. You know what you're getting, and it's not a super. Joe Milton? He's the lottery ticket, the guy with real upside. And let's be honest, Jerry Jones has always loved a splash, even if it's a quiet one. By taking a flyer on Milton, he's betting on the chance that lightning might strike twice. Just like the Cowboys once hit the jackpot with Tony Romo and later with Dak Prescott, they're hoping they can catch magic in a bottle again. And don't forget this wrinkle, the Patriots reportedly gave Milton a say in where he landed. He chose Dallas. That says something. The current QB room, how Milton fits. And so let's take a look at the quarterback depth chart now. Dak Prescott, the franchise guy. Will Grier, reliable backup, knows the system. Joe Milton, the project with crazy upside. Milton, will most likely start as QB3, and that's totally fine. There's no pressure on him to play right away. In fact, this might be the perfect situation for him. He gets to learn behind Dak, absorb Brian Schottenheimer's system, and work on his mechanics without being thrown to the wolves. If anything, this is the smartest way to develop a QB Joe Milton. A closer look, let's dive into Milton's game a bit. At the University of Tennessee, Milton had flashes of brilliance. He's got the arm strength to throw the ball 70-plus yards with ease. He's mobile, tough, and not afraid to sling it into tight windows. But, and this is a big but, he's inconsistent. His decision-making needs work, and his accuracy can be shaky at times. Still, when you watch the highlights, it's hard not to be intrigued. The tools are there, the body is there, the arm is definitely there. It's the rest that needs refining, and that's where the Cowboys come in. Why this move could be a steal now? Some folks are saying the Cowboys went cheap by not signing a bigger name backup, but maybe, just maybe, cheap is smart in this case. Milton's contract is team-friendly, about $1 million a year, and he costs next to nothing in draft capital. And think about it. If he develops into even a solid backup, it's a huge win. If he turns into more, that's a grand slam. Sometimes, the best moves are the quiet ones, the ones that don't make headlines, until they do. So, to recap, Trey Lance is now a Los Angeles Charger. His time in Dallas is over, but he leaves behind a lot of what-ifs. The Cowboys move forward. With Joe Milton, a project with serious upside, Jerry Jones might be cheap, but he's also playing chess, not checkers. And while drama swirls around Micah Parsons' contract, the bigger picture remains clear. This front office is trying to build a winner, in a smarter, more flexible way. Will it work? That's the million-dollar question. Now I want to hear from you, Cowboys Nation. Do you think it was the right move to let Trey Lance walk? Are you excited about Joe Milton and what he brings to the table? Or are you still hoping for a more proven backup behind Dak? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one of them. And of course, if you enjoyed the video and appreciate this kind of in-depth, fan-first content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to a championship, and we're covering every step of the way right here together. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Cowboys!